Yo, SNA fans, this is Super Ninja Austin here for back into another Super SNA podcast, episode 143. This is the wrestling news video, part 50, and yes, this is my 50th wrestling news video of the series, and I'm going to be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors that you SNA fans need to know on November 26th, 2023, and we're going to be talking about the news on the excuse me on the Wrestling Inc. article, which we're going to probably have plenty of Survivor Series news, with especially with especially with the returns, like with anything to do with Survivor Series and the returning Randy Orton and definitely returning CM Punk. But we're gonna start off today with Drew McIntyre reportedly stormed out of the arena after WWE Survivor Series main event, and it says right here, the conclusion of WWE Survivor Series produced some of the most chaotic news in recent memory, with the controversial CM Punk returning in front of a with a with a ruckus, like Chicago crowd ending in almost decade long absence, like from the company to Chicago. Like it ended up with after an entertaining War Games main event. While many fans are overjoyed with CM Punk's return, one man who reportedly wasn't in a good mood at the end of the night is Drew McIntyre. According to PW Insider, the former world champion stormed out of the ring and straight backstage after the main event before slamming his locker room door and immediately leaving the Allstate Arena in a in a hoodie. The the report indicated that McIntyre's frustration was loud and obvious, leading to plenty of conversations after the incident, but there is no clear reason as to why he reacted in such a manner in his departure. Ring a, a, ring occurred prior to Punk's grand entrance. Another performer involved in the war games about who was visibly angry as Survivor Series went off the air. And that man was Seth freaking Rollins himself, who seen flipping off Punk and being restrained by security, and in the WWE commentary duo of Corey Graves and Michael Cole, and multiple fans captured videos on social media. And you can see the video right here. And what do you thought about that? Like, the likes of Seth freaking Rollins and Drew McIntyre are unhappy of CM Punk's return. And then they're getting legitimately angry and for Seth freaking Rollins nearly attacking him and going off script and giving them the fingers. Y'all sound off in the comments below. But I'll say maybe Plana was right because Plana made a video like a couple hours after the show, and he said like, "Come on, grow up." Well, I'm not gonna say what else he called him, like the insult he calls him, but perhaps he's right on one thing about that. Like whatever he did in the past, like move on from it, and you could have expected this to happen eventually, if even if it wasn't at Survivor Series, which at first I thought it would be at Survivor Series, but until he was not gonna face nobody like a Shinsuke Nakamura, and I was like, you know what, maybe he's not gonna show up for that fact, like which I probably said that on this video until it shocked me at after the Survivor Series War Games match with the men. And I was like, what? Like, he actually showed up. I was like, even though they were in the city, his hometown in Chicago, Illinois, but I did not know he was going to actually show up. Like, wow. But y'all let me know in the comments down below. We're gonna move on to some backstage news on Vince McMahon's involvement in CM Punk's WWE return. And it says right here, the wrestling world is buzzing about CM Punk making his unprecedented return to WWE at Survivor Series. The Second City Saint returned to the company after nearly 10 years of a bitter and a criminitious separation. Separation. The former AEW World Champion returns to a WWE building with an entirely a different, higher higher with a high with a higher rate of hierarchy hierarchy. However, as WWE merged with UFC to form TKO Group Holdings under UFC parent company Endeavor, Fightful Select has reported that WWE figurehead Vince McMahon wasn't a part of the decision to bring CM Punk back to WWE. Instead, the decision was made by WWE President Nick Khan and WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque. It's unknown whether or not Vince McMahon would have pushed back on the deal if he had been a part of the process. But it's worth noting that he had shot down shot down the possibility of bringing the former WWE champion back into the fold when Fox was pushing for it. Punk did go on to work as an analyst for WWE backstage, but that was a deal entirely with Fox and not WWE. Punk's return to WWE was even more surprising after his in inglorious departure. Former AEW, like coming from departure from AEW earlier this year. He was fired with cause after an alleged backstage incident with Jack Perry, as well as general issues with Punk's attitude backstage. In ir- like irrespect like irrespective like of that, his deal to return was reportedly uh, closed this week after speculation of his appearance at Survivor Series had only started to die down. He's believed to have joined on a multi-year deal, but details details are scarce. But what do you think about WWE bringing back CM Punk without Vince McMahon, and they didn't need his permission because he's no longer the chairman, and it was but it was Triple H and Nick Khan's choice of bringing back the Chicago-made star, and also Endeavor was in the idea of bringing back the the voice of the voiceless and the best in the world, and I would say maybe this is a good idea for WWE to benefit off of him, and they probably gave him whatever he wanted and the good storyline, which he probably cannot refuse, especially if it had anything to do with him, the main event at least night one's WrestleMania. But he got to have some kind of a wrestler that's like main event worthy, like as much as he is, of course. So, and if he does gets the night one WrestleMania main event spot, who you think's is he gonna face in that role? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And are you still pumped? And are you fans still pumped for CM Punk's return from 9 long years? Y'all also let me know in the comments down below. But y'all also comment down below as well on that too. But yeah, I also think CM Punk will get a few opportunities to be on WWE of doing things that he never have got a chance to do. And and that one of them being a main event in WrestleMania, which he can rub it onto the haters and even him MJF himself on he finally main eventing WrestleMania. But let's move on to the next wrestling news now, and that is Cody Rhodes gets Um, okay, sorry for the wait. I got some technical difficulties on my phone, but we're gonna move on to the next wrestling news, and that is You got some backstage detail on Triple H and CM Punk's conversation prior to WWE Survivor Series, and it says right here, according to this wrestling article, in the news of the weekend, CM Punk made his shocking return to WWE at Survivor Series in Chicago. It marked the end of a nine-year wait to see Punk in WWE after his a- abrupt departure in 2014, seemingly putting to bed years of documented issues between CCO Paul Levesque and the cult of personality. For a time, it seemed as through Punk would not be returning, and reports have since emerged to say that talks with Levesque had only started in the last week. However, Fightful Select has now reported that there was at least a conversation between them as of last Sunday to like I suppose supposedly so the pair uh, could mend fences, and CM Punk and Paul Levesque reportedly met when Punk visited WWE Raw in April. Earlier this year, that meeting uh, came while the Cult of Personality was still signed to AEW, although he was also on hiatus following the events that transpired after All Out 2022. Punk was fired from AEW earlier this year with cause after an alleged backstage incident with Jack Perry when was reported to have impacted the perception of him from WWE. Paul Levesque noted during last night's press conference the that that almost that almost a decade has passed, and both he and Punk are much different people. So it's water under the bridge for now, at least. And what do you think about CM Punk and Paul Triple H Levesque being in good terms now? Like now that he's back in WWE, and they already uh, talked talked things out from 7 months prior, and let bygones be bygones. And if CM Punk needed a wrestling home, and if he wanted to go back for WWE, he could, because now Triple H is, uh, is the chief content officer of WWE. But yeah, y'all sound off in the comments down below about that. And they even showed a picture with them together, like them that he's now back in the company, which confirms it after. I'm not sure if it's before or after, but they posted after CM Punk made his long-awaited return, and it looks like he's now signed, which he could be signing a multi-year deal with the company. But we got some more CM Punk news that like CM Punk's new WWE brand reportedly confirmed. And if I haven't already guessed before I read this article, but it says right here, CM Punk's return to WWE at Survivor Series War Games was almost as much as a surprise to those within the company was as it was for those watching in what seemed like a certain impossibility. The cult of personality emerged to end a 9-year spell away from the promotion. Even more remarkable, considering the the terms that he had departed originally. Fightful Select has since reported that he will continue with WWE with WWE Raw brand as soon as of this Monday night. And when uh, despite speculation that he was going to be listed as a free agent, WWE Raw si- holds significance in the timeline of CM Punk's departure and eventual return to the company. His original departure came as a result of Punk walking out of of the Raw after the Royal Rumble in 2014. Later, later receiving his release papers on his wedding day. It's it's worth noting that when he was last with last with WWE, SmackDown was a taped show airing on night, Thursday uh, Thursday nights. So Raw was the pre was the premier was the premier brand for the time. However, Punk was also reported to have visit WWE Raw backstage while he was still under AEW contract. And in this year, at the time of his visit, he was still on hiatus after an alleged backstage altercation with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks at at uh, at at Full Gear, which it was actually All Out Brawl Out. He later returned to AEW, but was fired in September with cause following following an, another alleged backstage altercation with Jack Perry fans. With Jack Perry, not Jack Perry, Jack Perry fans. Fans will be hoping for a different outcome as he em, embarks on a journey new journey on Monday nights, Monday nights on Raw. But what do you think about? But what do you think about? uh, which brand CM Punk's going to be on, which they said he's going to be on Monday Night Raw, which I believe that will be a good idea because I'll say, but some of my feelings thinking like that it wouldn't be a good idea for the fact that two of the guys that's on the Raw brand that showed a reaction of his return, like going off script and being legitimately mad that CM Punk made his return, and it looks like he's not going to be making a lot of friends. And I would say one of the guys or a face, while the other guy is a heel. But yeah, like I said, this was a really massively surprising return, and I'm glad to see him back into the WWE. But it seems like that the two guys that's on WWE on the Raw brand are not really happy as much as me and other fans are feeling right now. But I would say what Plana said, one of the quotes he said, well, I'm not going to insult you saying the word because I prefer not to use profanity into my wrestling content, but but yeah, like grow the heck up. Like yeah, I'm gonna say what my boy Plana said on his video. Like grow the heck up. Like it's not that serious. It's you shouldn't have that much hatred on the guy. Like whatever he did in the past, that was in the past, not now. Everything has changed by then. Like Triple H said, like in that press conference, like just let the past behind. Like like Punk is a totally different guy now. But anyways, but yeah. But what do you think about him being automatically listed on the Raw brand? And what brand do you think would you prefer to be on? Sound off in the comments below. We're gonna we got some Cody Rhodes on Randy Orton news now. With Cody gets emotional discussing what Randy Orton has done for his WWE career, and then on the WWE Survivor Series 23 was emotional for Cody Rhodes. He picked up a victory in his first War Games match, a match that his father invented in his time in wrestling. But anyways, a concept created by his father, that's why I said, and got to welcome back his former legacy stablemate and mentor, the Viper himself, Randy Orton. Orton returned to the ring as the first. I mean, as the not first. I mean, the final as the final member of Team Rhodes at Survivor Series after being out of action for well over a year following uh, double back fusion surgery. Rhodes talked about his friend's return at the press conference following the premium live event. At the end of the match, Orton said to this is what Rhodes had to say on the press conference. He said, "At at the end of the match, Randy said to me, thanks for the phone call, and I wanted to tell him thanks for my career." Like Rhodes said as he began to to choke up and get emotional. I can say and also said, I keep thinking this is going to end right. I I couldn't have got to where I got had I not been around Randy. Like Randy, you hear all these funny stories about him and all this nonsense, but as a performer, a professional wrestler, a WWE superstar, what in what an astounding mentor he was to me. Truly, I'll never forget standing in the ring at the Royal Rumble when he won, pointing pointing at the Star WrestleMania sign, and just thinking like, I want to be like him. Well, and like, 14 years later, he finally got a chance to be like him, like winning the Royal Rumble, main event in WrestleMania, just like him. But it was 14 years later in 2000, this year in 2023, that the American Nightmare got a chance to do that. But anyways, Ro- Rhodes and Orton were involved in a heel stable known as Legacy, along with Ted DiBiase Jr. on WWE Raw from 2008 to 2010. In storyline, Rhodes helped Orton win the Royal Rumble match through, like, though Orton would go on to lose to Triple H for the at WWE WrestleMania 25. Rhodes and Orton would remain real life friends with Orton at one point, even teasing joining uh, Rhodes in AEW, which me and my mom thought that Orton would do that, because like if he would eventually would leave WWE just to join AEW with his real life best friend, the American Nightmare. But he didn't really need to do that, because he would stay in WWE as the loyal superstar that he is, and he wants to wrestle for another decade until he's in his 50s, like he said in interviews. But yeah, but his best friend Cody Rhodes made his return, and he even teamed with him in an 8-man tag match last year to celebrate 20 years of Randy Orton's career. And then when Randy Orton came back from his back injury, he was the fifth member of Cody Rhodes' team on Survivor Series against the Judgment Day. But yeah, at this year's Survivor Series, Orton came out last to help his friends, him and his friends team, hitting numerous finishers and set Rhodes up for a crossroads on Damian Priest to show him that he can do the move better than he can, which Damian Priest rarely used that move. He only used the Razor's Edge and the South of Heaven's Chokeslam, by the way. But anyways, to win the match, and it looks like this could be a sign, like the same with Bayley into Damage Control. She can get kicked off her own group, but I believe Io Sky will come up with a new name. But only my opinion, of course. They could still go as Damage Control, but I think it will be better for them if they're going to kick out the one who started Damage Control, they could ditch the Damage Control name and came up with a new and improved and better name for the newest edition of the stable, with Asuka and Kairi Sane on the stable, along with Io Sky and Dakota Kai. But yeah, but I would say it shouldn't have to be. But I don't think it shouldn't be just anything to do with Japanese, considering Dakota Kai's not Japanese. Like, she's only New Zealand, and if I'm not mistaken, also Irish and Samoan, which I heard, but she's mostly New Zealand. But anyways, but yeah, y'all let me know in the comments below about that. And also, Damian Priest could possibly get kicked out of the Judgment Day after taking a pinfall himself, with him being to blame and everybody in the Judgment Day staring at the Punisher of the JD faction. But they'll probably tease it until for the next month or two, until finally when the day comes, and then Mr. Senor's Money in the Bank will possibly cash in his Money in the Bank briefcase. When well, I would say I'm not sure when he will cash in his briefcase. It could be before or after. But yeah, y'all let me know also about that in the comment section right down below. And what do you think about? But the point is, what do you think about Cody Rhodes being emotional of this moment, like of him bringing back his best friend from his injury, and also him being the reason why he's the pro wrestling star that he is today, and being a mentor to him, like of making him a main event player into the business. Y'all let me know in the comments down below. And then we're gonna move on to the next. Triple H singles out one women's war game. Singles out one women's war game match participant at WWE Survivor Series. One of the women's involved in Saturday's War Games match at Survivor Series received high praise from Paul Triple H Levesque. Following the match, speaking at the press conference held after the Premium Live event, Levesque praised all of the women involved, but said Shotzi in particular had a great performance. He said, "I thought the women that Grand Slam in steel sailing out of the park. Like, amazing job," Levesque said. Shotzi put on a performance that I think like solidified like her in that role, in that upper tier, or that upper tier, and everybody else, like, it was a stubbed or stud. It was a star-studded match that just delivered on every end. The Survivor Series War Games match pit Shotzi and her teammates of Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch and Team Captain Bianca Belair against Team Damage Control. I comprised of Bailey, WWE Women's Champion Io Sky, Asuka, and the returning Kairi Sane. Shotzi was the second member of the babyface team to enter the War Games cage, and she was the first to introduce weapons into the match. The star also ate an elbow drop while covered in steel chairs, and took the mist to the face from Asuka. In the end, it was Team Bianca who got the victory, with Becky Lynch pinning Bailey after hitting a manhandle slam right off the upper right corner in the first ring first ring through the table, which the fans had a blast and had a ball with them seeing a table spot. It was Shotzi's feud with Damage Control, which began all the way back in July when Bailey began bullying her and even cutting her hair. That that started it all. The feud led to Shotzi shaving her own head. Shotzi chose the new look to support her sister who was undergoing on Kim mother Kim chemo chemo chemother Kim chemother chemotherapy. That's what it's called, chemotherapy. At the time, Levesque was supportive of the idea and encouraged her to go along with her plans and make it part of the storyline. What do you think about uh, what do you think about Triple H giving high praise to Shotzi for her performance on last night's War Games match, teaming with Bianca and Charlotte and Becky? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to backstage. We're gonna move on to some backstage update on on reported fallout following CM Punk's return. CM Punk's return at WWE Survivor Series War Games has reportedly caused chaos, ripple ripple effects behind the scenes. After the show, Drew McIntyre reportedly stormed out of the arena with those close to the situation, noting that he was visibly frustrated. The belief is that Punk's unexpected return might have played a part in Drew McIntyre's quick exit, but Fightful Select is now reported that the situation is more complicated than that. According to the report, Drew McIntyre was upset after his match, which saw him team with the Judgment Day to face the team of Cody Rhodes, Seth freaking Rollins, wouldn't say freaking, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and the returning Randy Orton. In the men's War Games bout, however, the reason for his frustration is reportedly bordered bordered than Punk. Coming back to WWE, the reason for McIntyre's frustration is currently uncleared. However, recent reports have noted that he's yet to sign a long long-term deal with the promotion, which has led to speculation about him having potential morale issues. Drew McIntyre's current deal will reportedly expire at WWE WrestleMania 40, though he's claimed the rumors of him being unhappy are false. Of course, one of the biggest talking points coming out of Survivor Series is Seth Rollins' reaction to Punk's comeback, the world heavyweight champion visibly lashed out upon seeing him enter enter the arena, but the situation might have been a work. According to Fightful Select, Seth Rollins reportedly dislikes Punk, but he's smart enough to capitalize on their alleged heat for the sake of doing business. Rollins has shared his thoughts on Punk returning to WWE before with the champ describing the former AEW star as a cancer and telling him to stay away. And what do you think about this? About wait, but first off, I would say I'll ask, what do you think about Drew McIntyre like Drew McIntyre showing me out there for a totally different reason besides him being mad at CM Punk's return? And what do you think? What's his reason? Do you think it's him not resigning with the company, and 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 it's about morale, like him having morale issues, or do you think it has? Or do you think does it think do you think it's about his contract expiring soon, or do you think it's something else totally different between him and the company? Between him and the company, y'all let me know down in the comments below. And also, what do you think about CM Punk? What he's doing is a work, like and if that was the case, you wouldn't see him doing the double middle fingers on him into that video, and you would possibly would have saw that unless it's a work shoot, like he's taking matters into his own hand, making it look like he still legitimately hates CM Punk. That's the theory I'm having. Like with Seth freaking Rollins, like like taking matters into his own hands of making it into a work on his own terms. Like when him looking like if he's legitimately mad that CM Punk returns, and if he said you want to fight, he'll bring him one. But yeah, it's been said on to previous interviews, like especially when on the road to WrestleMania at the beginning of this year, like he was asked about CM Punk, but he said, "Oh, good, oh boy, like you're gonna bring this guy up, Phil, like he's nothing but a cancer. Like don't come back here to WWE." But now he's back, and it looks like we're gonna see plenty of feuds like with the visionary and the best in the world as in the foreseeable future. And it looks like I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a world heavyweight championship match with built like with some 2 months of build with him being back in WWE. Like he can be in matches with the likes of name it, like I would say like Judgment Days, like with the Judgment Day, like with either Damian Priest and what's his name, and Finn Balor, and even being in a match with Big Bronson Reed and much more, and plenty of plenty of wrestlers he never got a chance to wrestle because he'd been long gone when they made their WWE debut. And what do you think who's gonna face first like since his return? Y'all sound off in the comments below. We're gonna and we're gonna look at the reason why Charlotte Flair wanted to be in the women's War Games match at Survivor Series. And it says right here, Cody Rhodes wasn't the first second generation War Games participant to make their match debut. Charlotte Flair also wrestled her first War Games match at Survivor Series on Saturday last night, even teaming up with Bianca Belair and and Shotzi and former frenemy Becky Lynch to defeat Damage Control, a team conspired of Bailey, WWE Women's Champion Io Sky, Asuka, and a returning Kairi Sane. At the press conference, Charlotte said she wanted to be in the first match for a variety of reasons. For she and this is what she had to say on the post match press conference. For me, it was more the history of war games with my dad, Ric Flair, and Dusty, and and wanting to be a part of that and continuing the tradition and being with Bianca and Shotzi and having this moment with Becky. For me, more more making amen, amends, making amends. Flair said, "We kind we kind of left in we kind of left in a bad spot, and then coming together tonight, and then we move forward to every to everything. It was awesome." She also mentioned one spot she just had to get in during the match and I had to get my moonsault in moonsault in. Charlotte admitted, "I was like, I have to go off the cage." Flair and Lynch were once close friends, but reportedly had fallen out following a promo. Lynch cut years ago, calling her former best friend a plastic. Their ill will led to led led to an uncomfortable segment like where the women were supposed to swap title belts and were reportedly involved in a backstage confrontation after. The women were able to put put aside their differences and make admin men's competing in the into the match type that Flair help or helped to the prior the pion helped to pioneer. The pair teased a confrontation during the match, then hugged it out before almost taking a double pin by Damage Control. It was Lynch who ultimately got the pin on Bailey to win the War Games match for Team Bianca. And what do you think about Charlotte Flair wanting to be a part of the War Games match, just like her father did, just like Cody Rhodes' father, Dusty Rhodes, uh, was participant into the match? Like, well, Ric Flair helped pioneer the match, and it looks like the two second generation superstars got a chance to be a part of this match stipulation that both of their fathers made famous. And but yeah, and let me know what you thought of Software wanting to be in this match, and then she put her differences with Becky Lynch on the side to be teaming with her alongside. and it looks like their beef is over genuinely. But I wouldn't say they're exactly friends, but I would say they're not exactly enemies either. But like anymore, of course, like they're no enemies no more. So like if they need to work something out, like they'll gladly do so because they let they let their differences go. Like of course, yeah, and they're no longer have anything bad to say to one another. Yeah, of course, but yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about like this is the first time we've seen two second generation superstars of being uh of being a part of the War Games match, except like yeah, Charlotte was in the women's side, and then Cody Rhodes was obviously in the men's side of the War Games match. But let's move on to the next wrestling news. In the report backstage reaction in WWE and AEW to CM Punk's return at Survivor Series. And it said CM Punk's return at WWE Survivor Series was a moment to hold for fans, marking the end of a 9-year wait following his initial departure. His spell in AEW starting in 2021 came to an end earlier this year as he was fired with cause following the alleged backstage incident with Jack Perry. His his firing would his firing would have came as no shock when taking into account to several issues he he shared with those in the locker room, including EVPs like Kenny Omega, Nick and Matt Jackson of the Young Bucks. But it's been made abundantly clear that those in WWE also shared bad blood with the cult of personality. PW Torch's Wade Keller reported after Punk's return that while it that while it's not clear who exactly knew he would be returning to WWE, Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre were both given a heads up out of out of respect. Rollins was visibly rattled by Punk's emergence, uh, owing owing to their own personal issues, but it's been speculated that and he may well be working an angle, considering he he was reportedly formed prior. Drew McIntyre was seemingly reported to have left the building unhappy, but it's unclear whether this is Punk related. Like as far as the rest of the locker room is concerned, a veteran support a supposed veteran supposedly remarked to Keller, saying, "I get it. I get it. I excuse me. I have been pissed off too for being left in the dark, but they need to get over it." It was later noted that CM Punk was going to have a challenge like in winter over his new his new colleagues, like considering his inflammatory comments, in flattery comments, I should say, that inflammatory comments towards the promotion over the years. They they are also said to be aware of his issues in AEW. So there is a perception that he is now eating his words upon his return. Another veteran was said to have uh, a, a, opined, opined like that the decision to bring Punk back will be measured by what the former AEW star gets up to in the next few months. And what do you think about these veterans like uh, being absolutely ticked off about the Chicago made star, but they're gonna do it in a mature way, but he grew up. He knows that things has been changed by now. Like, who do you think these veterans are who said this to Wade Keller into interview? Into a short private interview, which I would agree. Like with others that pissed off and taken it out in an immature way, they need to grow up, move on, like do exactly what you need to do as professionals. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think. Who's these veterans that taking this taking this mature about CM Punk's return? Okay, we got some more Triple H praises now as he praised somebody in the men's side of the Survivor Series War Games match, and that man is none other than his former protege, the Viper Randy Orton, following returning from injury at WWE Survivor Series. Randy Orton successfully returned to the ring at WWE Survivor Series on Saturday after undergoing double back fusion surgery in 2022. His his re his reappearance led to Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins, not freaking Sami Zayn and Jey Uso defeating the Judgment Day inside War Games to cap to cap off the night in ring action. During the post show press conference, the WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque addressed Orton's journey back to the squared circle, and this is what he had to say on the post show press conference. Just just incredibly proud of Randy Orton, and when you have the kind of injury he had where things are things are touch and go. I've been there, Triple H said, where they tell you you might never do this again. That's that's a rough that's a rough experience to be fight on the fight back. What he went through to be able to have what he had done and to be able to come back here tonight and have the moment that he had was was just awesome. I'm so happy for him to come here come here, do what he did uh, did what he did tonight, and it sounds silly, but as it as it being war games, like sort of the pressure being off of him a little bit to come back and be able to just be Randy Orton and do what he needs to do. Triple H also pointed out the difficulties of returning from a lengthy hiatus, notably the mental aspect when it comes to wondering if fans will even care. All in, I care. All in all, Triple H is happy to see his former Evolution stablemate healthy and able to perform again. And what do you think about Randy Orton? What do you think about Triple H being absolutely glad and proud that Randy Orton could able to make it to the Survivor Series pay per view or premium live event, and being part of Team Cody Rhodes and against the Judgment Day? Y'all sound off in the comments down below. We're gonna move on to, but yeah, Randy Orton had to go had to get two back fusion surgeries, two different back fusion surgeries on in of last year after suffering the injury with his match teaming with Matt Riddle against the Usos. And yeah, and now that he's back and he's cleared to compete, we're probably expecting more matches from the Viper into his return with the WWE, and also what do you think? What's next for the Viper? And do you think he's going to struck RKO on Dominic and Manuia? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. We got some Matt Riddle news now as former WWE star comments on Survivor Series return of CM Punk. Following CM Punk's return at Survivor Series, ending 9 years away from the company, mere months after AEW fired him and calls former WWE superstar Matt Riddle has taken a dig at the company and their new hire. Riddle took to X, formerly known as Twitter, to react to the news and making light of his own firing and Punk's brief stint in UFC, saying, "Hey WWE, you thought I was hard to deal with. I have fun with 0 to 2. Have fun with 0 to 2 CM Punk." He wrote, "Have fun with 0 to 2 CM Punk." He wrote right here, and here's the caption right here. He posted onto X/Twitter. "I will give you 10 extra seconds, and if you need more time, I recommend you to pause this video to read the caption that Matt Riddle posted on X." And what do you think about this post that Matt Riddle did on Twitter? Riddle, it says Riddle is taking a dig at Punk's UFC record, where he would lose fights against Mickey Gall and Mike Jackson. His second fight against Jackson has since been overturned to a no contest after Jackson tested positive for marijuana. After the fact, but but I Punk also left AEW earlier this year. I I clouded in controversy. His his firing uh sup- supposed result of his alleged backstage altercation with Jack Perry. Riddle's own WWE departure came amidst amidst uh, amidst controversy, reportedly a result of burning too many bridges after a career marred with allegations of sexual assault arising from the speaking out movement and and in real life issues with current WWE World Champion Seth Rollins and multiple wellness policy violations, leading to a suspension. The the straw that broke the camel's back proved to be an incident at JFK Airport in New York, which had led to a police investigation. Likewise, his own UFC career from 2008 to 2013 for 5 years came to an end under controversy falling to uh, fa- uh, falling to drug tests through marijuana use and having two of his fights over, overturned to no contest. He left MMA after his last fight in 2014, roasting roasting a record of three. Record of 8-3-0 record in his UFC career. And what do you think about Matt Riddle taking a shot at CM Punk? Also, excuse me. And also, what do you think about uh, taking a shot? And what do you think about and what do you think about yeah, Matt Riddle shot at CM Punk? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And 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 then it's been said that he's gonna face Rob Van Dam between it was either February or March of 2024 is is uh his post WWE match, I should say, at this independent wrestling show, and it seemed like he was not really much better than CM Punk though, of having controversial moments and him burning his bridges, which that's some personal reasons. But either way, I'm still a Matt Riddle fan. Like despite all this, I still think that Matt Riddle is an entertaining guy, very cool guy. Like with with CM with CM Punk with CM Punk with CM Punk uh with CM Punk's return, like it's Matt Riddle. But yeah, y'all let me know all about that in the comments down below. We got some more Cody Rhodes news. Shares his feelings on CM Punk's returning on CM Punk returning to WWE. He said the more the merrier. And that's what he said. Hell hell has officially frozen over at least on last night's WWE Survivor Series War Games Premium Live event. CM Punk returned to the company. He infamously exit almost 10 years ago. Like the decision of bring him back has seemingly caused decisions backstage, with Drew McIntyre reportedly storming out of the arena afterward. However, Cody Rhodes is happy to see CM Punk back in the fold, especially if he's willing to contribute uh, to the product. He said, "I don't want to short with my response, but it truly is this. If he had helped with where we're going and what we're doing, about like absolutely uh, at welcome aboard, like welcome aboard." Rhodes said at the post show press conference. "I have a feeling that CM Punk that potentially we're getting is hungry, and that's the best of course, the best of course." Rhodes understands that Punk's presence like in WWE like might might the might divide the locker room. He's a controversial performer who originally left WWE after a fallout with management in 2014. Furthermore, he was fired by AEW earlier this year following a series of reported backstage dis- disputes, disputes like which reached a a fever pitch at All In 2023. That said, Rhodes believes that Punk is good for the for business, and that's what most important. When when someone is hungry, uh, this is what Rhodes had to say. When someone is hungry and someone wants it, that's that's when it's real. That's when it's real. I'll give kudos and flowers to Triple H and Nick Khan getting that done. You can ask all the boys and girls until they are blue in the face. How do you feel? You you might get up, you might get down, you might have a wide range of emotions, but the first thing always is business. We're we're doing record we're doing record business. It feels like everybody wants to be here. The more the merrier. And what do you think about Cody Rhodes's comments about the Chicago made star? And do you think he's and do you two think that he's more hungrier and more better CM Punk? And do you think the more the merrier, like the old catchphrase say, like said by the American Nightmare? I know I agree with Cody on that. Y'all let me know down in the comments below what y'all think about this matter. But we're gonna move on to the next news now, and it's WWE Hall of Famer Rob Van Dam explained why he didn't like wrestling at MSG, which stands for Madison Square Garden, of course. But anyways, Madison Square Garden is often seen as the as a mecca of professional wrestling, having played a host to some of the biggest events in wrestling history, including the first ever WWE SummerSlam or WrestleMania 20. However, it wasn't a place where Robin or RVD loved wrestling, as he claimed it was just too small, compact, compact. And he said this right on to this. And this is what he had to say on the on his one of a kind podcast. He said, "I always feel like I'm insulting people because that's their pinnacle of sports is MSG, and I can tell by how excited everyone gets, like, oh my god, we're in MSG," like he said. For me, since I did it and have the nostalgia factor, the way that I remember it was that everyone's bags take up the entire dressing room, and you can't even fit a person in all all of the bags. Madison Square Garden has typically been seen as the home of WWE, but also a Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling did step in for the G1 Supercard in 2019 as well, adding further history to the arena. While it might create a great uh, at, 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 at atmosphere, at atmos, 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 like, and the like create a great atmosphere as a place fans enjoy attending. From a a logistical perspective, like, it wasn't ideal, as RVD revealed they had to go one at a time to get dressed. It it was just not my favorite building to go to. I always feel like, when I say that, I'm sorry for New Yorkers, for and everyone who grew up idolizing the garden and making that their holy bucket list. That's destination, like a holy bucket list destination. RVD said, I don't argue with you or your values, but for me, not my favorite place. There's one toilet for 20 wrestlers. How clean did you think that toilet's going to be? But what do you think about Rob? What do you think about Rob Van? What do you think about Rob Van Dam's comments about about Madison Square Garden, like having like he that's not his favorite place in the world. Like, and it only had one toilet for 20 wrestlers, 20 women, and also a very small locker room for the wrestlers. They put their bags in for with their gears and their other belongings on the show, of course, and and then he said he cannot argue for those who want to be in Madison Square Garden. That's their bucket list. Like a bucket list of one of the biggest place they want to the headline a show at. Like what if it's a concert or like a concert or a comedy event or wrestling event or even some kind of a other sporting event like maybe even basketball perhaps like it may be their dream, but he said for him, like personally, and him as a wrestler, it's not his cup of tea. Like, like, but, but yeah, but don't, but it's not his cup of tea. Like, even though maybe other athletes and other entertainers, cup of tea and dreams of uh, of going there. It doesn't seem like he's not really a fan of Madison Square Garden, and you probably wouldn't expect him to go back there, even if you pay him like whatever he's worth or whatever he wants. Like no kind of money does not want. What you won't like, and don't expect RVD to go back to MSG anytime soon. Of course. We got some backstage speculation on why Drew McIntyre left angrily like after WWE Survivor Series, and it says according to this article, shortly after CM Punk returned, the internet was buzzing over reports that Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre were visibly upset while Rollins' situation appears to be storyline like related. It's not quite as clear regarding the Scottish Warrior. PW Torch reports that Drew McIntyre did storm out of the ring prior to Punk's entrance and went in the opposite direction. Backstage from there, he grabbed his things from the locker room and and prompt like left. However, it's being said that McIntyre had other issues with how things unfolded on Saturday leading up to his War Games match and Punk's return. As of earlier November, McIntyre was telling people close to him that he had not resigned with WWE, though seeing as though his deal is up earlier 2024. There's speculations that Punk's return may be a contributing factor to his frustration. Now it affects a possible new con- contract. It was also noted that a that the cameraman was seen give given McIntyre uh, su- subtle cues on his way out, indicating that McIntyre's abrupt exit may have been a work to begin with. McIntyre's WWE status has has been a talking point throughout throughout the years throughout the year following his post WrestleMania 39 hiatus that lasted until earlier July. Despite returning this summer as a babyface, the former WWE champion slowly turned heel again this fall, heading into a feud with Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel. After coming up short in his shot at the WWE World Heavyweight title, McIntyre agreed to align with the Judgment Day for War Games at least, but it remains to be seen what's next for his character and future in WWE. And what do you think what's next for the Scottish Warrior? And do you think he's going to resign or do you think he's not? And do you think if he doesn't resign, is it because of it being CM Punk had anything to do with it, like being a factor to the reason why he doesn't resign and wants to leave the company even more? But y'all let me know down in the comments below. But I'm not sure what's the reason why he stormed out of there in an angry mood. But we're just gonna have to see what's the reason for ourselves. Like see what's the next move is the Scottish Warriors gonna do after storming out of the Allstate Arena in a hurry, in an angry mood, of course. But yeah, y'all let me know down in the comments below. We're gonna move on to Triple H explains why former AEW star Jade Cargill hasn't made her debut yet. WWE Survivor Series War Games 2023 closed with CM Punk making an unreceived return to the promotion, joining Cody Rhodes and Jade Cargill and marquee names to jump from AEW. Like fanfare, but fanfare has yet but fanfare has yet to make her in-ring debut. Triple H addressed why that's been the case during the Survivor Series press conference. He said, "I have no less belief in her now than I did then when she signed with WWE," he stated, adding that her development has taken precedence ahead of her debut. It's interesting when she come in. We talked about her development, like and where she would land, but where the development was. I want to make her that no matter what is thrown at Jade Cargill, she's ready to she's ready and at no fault of her own. I think that she was limited in that. Cargill has made appearances on WWE Raw, NXT, and SmackDown, teasing future showdowns with the likes of Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch. However, there remains a degree of uncertainty over when and where she will eventually land full time. Triple H also explained the exposure of the former AEW star, saying, "We exposed her. We made her be seen. People are are understanding, and they're waiting, and they're excited for her to to come, and when she does, it's going to be massive. He reasoned that he didn't want a never seen before pitch to throw Cargill ahead of of her big of her big moment. So they are waiting to ensure she knows what to do no matter her position. The CCO further remarked that even without stepping in a WWE ring, there are several would be dream dream matches for her. He believes she is a star, but is in no rush to throw her into the spotlight. And what do you think? And what do you think about Triple H's comments onto the new up to the upcoming debut of Jay Cargill? And yeah, I don't blame him for doing. I'm rushing her to put her in a match, like especially if it's gonna be her debut match, and it's not even worth not gonna be worth doing that. Like we have to wait. We have to wait and see. Only a matter of time. Like when she makes her debut, and when she's gonna make her debut match, and who she's gonna face first in their first ever match in the WWE. Y'all sound off in the comments down below, and I think she can face any woman in the roster, if you ask me. But I would say, oh excuse me, but I would say it's probably going to be a couple more months, and she possibly would make a Royal Rumble appearance, and even be a finger pinch close of winning the Rumble. But something tells me that she'll be. That's the only thing she's gonna get. She's gonna be close, but she will get a title match, but it won't be for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. I think it's gonna be for the WWE Women's Championship. But we're gonna wait and see for that. That's only just my prediction, not a spoiler. My opinion, of course. But yeah, but yeah, we. But what do you think? Like, I don't blame him not to hurry up and put her out there, because like if she's in a rush of being out in the ring, like get it, in a rushed pitch if she don't know exactly what to do, unless she gets some more developments and learn gradually and slowly but surely, which that's a wise decision from the chief content officer on wait until that time comes for her to get her moment, like when it's very convenient for her and WWE at the same time. I'm gonna let y'all be the judge of that in the comments down below. We're gonna move on to some Mark Henry news. He explains why he lived for Vince McMahon's reaction during time with WWE. Like even the most accomplished workers appreciate the approval of their superiors, and WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry is no different. During his time as a WWE superstar, Henry went to work hoping to get the validation of Vince McMahon as a pat on the back from the boss, like motivated him to improve as a performer. Like speaking on the Busted Open Radio, Henry broke down the significance of receiving praise from McMahon. He said it it meant the world because you didn't get it like that often. Henry said of the times Of the times McMahon appreciated his work, very rarely would Vince come and say, "Hey, good good effing job. This is how we eat. This is how we make money for our families." When he did that, bro, like it was like you you could fly, because rest of the rest of the time I'd be like, come on, man, like you've gotta work harder, like you've gotta do better, like you can think faster than that. Like he was always on your ass, but because he wanted better, he wanted more. He like more effect. Like he wanted you to take your body and health seriously. Henry then drew in an analogy between his dynamic with Vince McMahon and his relationship with his children, like stressing that and stressing that although he lets his kids know that he loves them, and on a daily basis he routinely reminds them not to take the love for granted. Henry believes uh, instilling such strict values pushes them to work harder, in the same vein that McMahon brought out the best in him as a superstar. And what do you think about this inspirational confession from the world's strongest man about Vince McMahon, of getting on him on working harder and better, and smarter into this industry, and as a superstar, like as a wrestler, of course. Y'all sound off in the comments down below, and I believe that's how he got better at being a pro wrestler, and even becoming the world heavyweight champion, and being a very popular star in the business. We're gonna We got some Seth Rollins news up next. It's backstage news on Seth Rollins' reactions to CM Punk's WWE return at Survivor Series. It says CM Punk's shocking return at WWE Survivor Series drew strong reactions from not only fans in inside Allstate Arena and on social media, but also from his new ca- from his new coworker. Like video footage has made rounds of WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins expressing his anger at Punk's return, as he threw up middle fingers and teased charging at the former WWE champion, while referees Michael Cole and Corey Graves attempted to keep Rollins on in line. Now comes the question: is it a work or a shoot? Both Fightful and PW Torch have reported that top talent involved in the men's War Games match were pulled aside to be given the heads up that Punk would appear before cameras stopped rolling. Like PW Torch the adds adds add adds the belief is Rollins was was actually given more of a heads up than the others because his upset reaction is part of developing storyline. While Rollins may be poised to work with top angle with Punk, it it doesn't mean he's excited to have him back, considering his past comments where he labeled Punk as a cancer. Nevertheless, the the are the are a few there are a few ideas for 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 where the direction could go those could go those goes include Rollins that includes Rollins being the pro WWE babyface, defending the company's stability against a heel CM Punk. Rollins turning heel in an overreaction, or it could be upset in in a way where fans have to have to choose a side without either being the clear heel. Another point like made by PW Torch is that Rollins sees this as an opportunity to work a true top program in WWE after riding the back seat to undisputed WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns. For several years, a red hot angle like this could help elevate him to the top main event level against. And what do you think about this? Like this could be a red hot work shoot angle like feud for over the world heavyweight champion between CM Punk and Seth freaking Rollins. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And also, what's your what do you think about Seth Rollins not being still being a fan of CM Punk, even making a comment about him being a cancer in the locker room in the past? We're gonna move on to the next news. The WWE that former WWE star Zach Gowen reveals crazy Brock Lesnar segment that almost happened. And it says that a former WWE star of the 2000s recently spoke on a scrapped spot that would have seen Brock Lesnar perform something straight out of the Here Comes the Pain video game. Speaking speaking on the inside, speaking on the inside, like with Chris Van Vliet, like speaking on the Inside with Chris Van Vliet podcast, like Zach Gowen, a wrestler with one leg, who feuded with Lesnar in 2003, said the infamous spot where Brock Lesnar pushed him down a set of stairs with a wheelchair was mild compared to what was initially planned. Was initially planned the initial spot involved an iconic piece of WWE SmackDown history. He said the original idea was for Brock Lesnar to F5 him off the SmackDown, off of the F5 me off of the SmackDown fist through the stage. That was the original idea. Gowan explained. Do you remember the SmackDown fist? Like so, we we were we were we were going to be on the top of the SmackDown fist. Brock Lesnar was going to toss me off this bad boy, and I was gonna go through the stage. That was the plan for like 2 or 3 weeks. In 2 or 3 weeks, Gowan said the plan had to change because WWE Creative could not figure out the the logistics of how to get Lesnar and Gowan on the top of the fist. Like Gowan said, he was a little disappointed because he always enjoyed seeing the likes of Shawn Michaels and Jeff Hardy, like old, 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 like old, utilize the set for crazy spots. Ultimately, Lesnar at the be at the behest of Vince McMahon in storyline, like pushed Gallen to go down the stairs. And what do you think about this being the original plan for Brock Lesnar and Zach Gallen instead of being pushed down the stairs into the on a wheelchair? Like, what do you think about Brock Lesnar F5ing him off the SmackDown fist, off the top of the SmackDown fist in 2003 and right through the stage? Do you think that was insanely unnecessary? Would that be insanely? It would be insanely unnecessary for WWE to pitch an idea like this, or would y'all be all in for the idea? Sound off in the comments down below. We're gonna end this video with some WWE Hall of Famer Jim Ross pitches the WWE Dream Match for Will Ospreay. At AEW Full Gear 2023, it was confirmed that Will Ospreay is all elite. He will join the company at the end of his New Japan Pro Wrestling contract. Have reportedly signed for over 3 years. Fans and pundits are now talking about potential dream matches for him, with Jim Ross offering his thoughts on who Will Ospreay's first opponent should be. Speaking on his Grilling JR podcast, Jim Ross explained who he should face into this podcast. He said, everybody wants to see somebody wrestle Bryan Danielson, and I think that would be at the top of my list, he said. But the roster is getting thicker with talented workers, and they are getting more populated with excellent workers. So it's hard to say could be a Bryan Danielson. It could either be Kenny Omega, but nonetheless, there's a lot of talents. Like talents like that's in AEW, of course. Ospreay previously claimed that he'd be able to defeat Danielson, which only enhanced the desire to to see to see that the to to see that encounter amongst the fans. The 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 Englishman hasn't tangled with the American Dragon yet, but he has mixed it up with a feud with an AEW star during his crossover appearances, including Chris Jericho. And and this is what Ross also added to his podcast. Like, there's just so many candidates like to work with Osprey. Not not just everybody can work with him because of his uni, unique uniqueness, unique, unique, uniqueness, uniqueness. But there's a lot of matches that I'd like to book. Ross added, "It's it's going to be fun. Going to be fun going forward, no doubt. There's a lot of guys lining up to work with Osprey because he's so good and so different. So it will be a nice attraction when he starts, and I'm hoping to be able to call some of those matches." And what do you think about Jim Ross's comments about who should Will Ospreay face, and should he face someone like a Bryan Danielson, or what do you think? What's on your list? But y'all let me know down in the comments below. But this is the end of my SNA podcast video of the wrestling news. That's your list of the wrestling news for November 26, 2023. Which one was your favorite on the list? Which which is mostly about Survivor Series and the returning uh and also the returning of Randy Orton and CM Punk and everything that has to do with Survivor Series mostly. Oh, but there's only been a couple, like with Rob Van Dam and Zach Gowen and Jim Ross. That's only like a few. That's only like a few things besides Survivor Series. But yeah, this was your list of the SNA podcast. 140. This is our 143rd episode. Like, with the wrestling news, part 50, my 50th wrestling news, of course. And what do you think about this list? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And also, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. And if you did, please smash the big thumbs up button, subscribe, click the bell notifications so when you won't miss the upload from my next upload of my new video. And make sure you check out my wrestling news video tomorrow, which will be part 51, episode 144. Also, along with 145th episode of the SNA podcast, not wrestling news, I already said that, the Monday Night Raw review part 16, of course. Yeah, part 16, which will be the 16th week I've been doing the wrestling reviews for Raw, NXT, Dynamite, SmackDown, Rampage, and Collision. But yeah, I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Please share with your friends and family all over social media. Please have them subscribe as well, like y'all have, like my good viewers, loyal viewers, and SNA fans out there, and make this a bigger channel and a bigger content. But yeah, hopefully y'all have a great Sunday, and I'll see you all tomorrow afternoon. Until the meantime, Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, is out. Bye bye, my SNA fans.